Welcome back to another episode of the Marketing Quacks podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Dozer, and if you're new to the show, my mission here is to expose the quacks in the marketing industry while featuring some great marketing professionals along the way. So in this episode, I'm really excited to welcome our guest, Shane Dutka. Shane is the Vice President of SEO at 3Ships Home Solutions and an expert in all things SEO and affiliate marketing. Shane, thanks so much for joining the show.
Appreciate you having me.
And for full transparency, I used to work at 3Ships. So that's how Shane and I crossed paths. I believe, Shane, it was an SEO roundtable you were doing, and I just happened to pop in and like the content that you were sharing. And there's a lot of great SEOs over at 3Ships.
Yeah. It's funny that how we met and I guess stayed in touch. I did. Yeah, at the time I didn't know you. I was just they asked me to do a roundtable sharing. I guess it was AI at the time, I think. Like my
pre-chat GPT too.
Yeah, it might have been right as ChatGPT launched. They had us do a roundtable. But yeah, I'm glad we met. I mean, I remember you like chatting. You're like, yeah, I just joined your newsletter, and like I really, it was interesting. I was like, oh, great. This guy must like niche sites or something because like that's what we had at the time.
Yeah, I'm a big personal branding guy, and I saw you were doing your own thing on YouTube
Yep.
too. So I was like, God, he seems like he's doing shit outside of just his 9-to-5 job, and I like to connect with people like that.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, we were talking about before the podcast, personal branding is huge. And in the SEO community, especially, like it gives you so much leverage, in your career, outside your career for, entrepreneurial pursuits or just getting to the next job and leveraging that for, better paying salary. There's a lot of things. So I was very much like, YouTube and trying to build that out.
Personal brand's the ultimate leverage, bro. So let's dive right in. Talk about your experience in SEO and kind of what you do now in a day-to-day.
Yeah, my experience is kind of varied. Originally, I was an accountant, so if you look me up, Shane Dutka, my whole story is on my About page. I'll try to spare the long story, but I used to be an accountant, did that for some years, from like 2013 to 2018. In between that, I started a bow tie site where I dabbled in e-com and I did SEO to try to drive some traffic. I invested $50K of my own money into bow ties, trying to do something that wasn't accounting. And I ended up pretty much the only thing that worked was SEO. And I was like creating articles around bow ties with suits, got some traffic. I was like, oh, SEO freaking works. Like I should do more here and less e-com and paid traffic. So I ended up pivoting away from bow ties and I started a pest control site. Pure affiliates. And I was like, affiliates better than e-com. I don't have to deal with customer service. I don't have to deal with inventory or any cash flow things or logistics things. Affiliates really great. So I was like, affiliate seems like where it's at, and pest control seemed like a pretty low competition niche at the time. So I dabbled or went headfirst into essentially affiliate SEO in that niche, and then found some success. Ended up growing that pest control site called Pest Strategies to at its peak was around $60K a month, all through Amazon affiliates, some lead gen, and display ads. And then I started a bunch more sites like that, a lot more affiliate sites in the jewelry niche, painting niche, baby niche, coffee, fitness was one of them. On my site, again, I have like a lot of these stories already there. So if you want to check those out, they're there, and I'm happy to answer any questions. But fast forward to 2020, I ended up joining 3Ships, which is, you led that out here. And I get a lot of questions. They're like, why would you join a company when you had so much success or had some success in the SEO?
That was my first question, I think, when I met you.
Yeah, it's a common one, and it's a good one. Mainly because I was sort of like, honestly, I was really unpolished. Like I had a lot of hustle, and like I really liked to work hard and do work ethic, whatever. But I really wasn't a polished entrepreneur, and I knew I had a lot to learn on the management side. So I ended up joining 3Ships, learning from really smart entrepreneurial folks here. It felt like an entrepreneurship or entrepreneur kind of environment because I could do entrepreneurial things and in a safe place, essentially. So I've been here for about 4 years. Now it's 2024 and a couple days into it. And yeah, I started as a director. I was managing one site and an intern when I joined. And now I am managing 4 sites and about 40 people. So it's 30 to 40 people, most like 8 SEOs and the rest content folks. Big group of people, and I've learned a ton about management, how to, leadership, and of course SEO. So I learned. It's been a great experience. I'm glad I'm here and I'm doing it, and happy to share, some pearls of wisdom if I can.
Yeah, I love it. So I was kind of in a similar scenario as you. I was an entrepreneur before I joined Three Ships for about 3 years. And then I had an intriguing opportunity. I'm like, who's this Three Ships company? And I'm very glad I did it. I met some great people like you, of course, and also on the division that I was working in. But also, that is big boy affiliate marketing. Like, I was doing affiliate marketing in the VPN space, and I still do. But then when you work for a company like Three Ships, who's dealing with huge ticket affiliate marketing, I'm like, wow, I'm very glad I did that because I learned a lot more than if I wouldn't have, dabbled into Three Ships and doing what they're doing.
Yeah, no, 100%. Anytime I have an interview with a potential SEO analyst, I'm like, yeah, like this is big boy affiliate work. Like we have one
Forbes,
site.
U.S. News. I mean, you're going against the biggest players in the space.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at some of the most competitive SERPs that exist, and Forbes, U.S. News, CNET. These are all big players that we can regularly compete with. Yeah, like we have one site right now that does just this one site will do like between $1 million and $1.5 million in affiliate rev. It's all lead gen, and in our peak season, it does almost 2.5 to 3. So like that's just one site. So Three Ships does things at a very big scale. Like I said, I have nearly 40 people in my peer review managing all of that. There's a lot going on, so it's really fun and a challenging environment, and one that if you're an SEO, there's not many places that you can actually do this type of stuff.
I agree. So we're in 2024 now. Let's talk SEO trends for 2024. Where are you focusing your time and efforts as SEO continues to evolve?
Yeah, this is a great question. I 100% focused right now on user experience. I think in the SERPs that we plan, everybody is doing on-page SEO correctly. Like there's not like an on-page SEO like thing that's missing that's gonna send you from 5 to 1. So really, where you win essentially when you're that basically neck and neck is through better user experience, in my opinion. And right now we're actually investing. We have 3 people right now whose sole focus this quarter is to talk to like 20 customers and between like in our different categories, because we want to get inside the customer. We want to do our own research, firsthand research, get interviews, and then we're going to take all that firsthand data, qualitative data, do some surveys, get some quantitative data, and then bake that into our experience and our content. We usually give that stuff to our writers. We give it to our designers, our developers, to then build you experiences that speak to these things that users care about, so that when somebody Googles XYZ keyword, best VPN software, like they land on our pages and they're like, yeah, this is the page I want. It's got all the things and knows my problems and it has solutions. So
Admittedly,
that's where it is. Yeah.
Yeah, no, admittedly, that's one thing I've struggled with as an affiliate marketer. Is sometimes you have to put yourself in the shoes of a consumer, which is very difficult to do when you're generating copy, generating images, or just generating anything on, exactly what I'm talking about. It's like you have to think like a consumer. Because me personally, if I went to an affiliate site, I'm in the affiliate game. I know their tricks and gimmicks. I'm not buying this shit. You know what I mean? But I'm also not a consumer. So you have to think like a consumer in order to be a successful marketer. So I love that point. Talk about EEAT a little bit and where you think that's going in 2024.
Yeah, that's a good one also.
And EEAT, for those that don't know that are listening, experience, expertise, authority, trust. Huge ranking signal from Google's algorithm.
Yeah. The SEO, we talk to 10 SEOs, you get 10 different opinions about EEAT, and I think it's fine. They're all like generally in the same ballpark. And really at the core of it is you're just trying to communicate to Google that the person who authored the page is qualified to do so, has expertise that is going to help somebody, along their user journey, isn't incorrect information, it's factually right. I think for our strategy for EEAT in 2024, it's mostly getting schema right and trying to connect the dots for Google as easy as possible. That, hey, John Smith has a LinkedIn profile over here, an Instagram over here, and a GitHub account over here. Like we'll create some schema using mainly same as schema and some authorship schema, and there's usually profile page schema. There's a few different types of schema out there. We just send them all to the developer and have them mark up our pages as they should be. But then we connect things for Google, make it easy for Google to see the connections through same as. It's a attribute, I think, in the schema that basically just put the URL of where it is, and that helps Google connect the dots. I mean, that sort of thing. And then having this is basic stuff, but like author pages with like their bio, a profile, their image on the page that they're publishing content on with a small bio and a link to their author page, and then like a meet. Like these are basic things and they seem so obvious, but people just sometimes don't even do them, or they like think about them last. And like if you go to somebody's author page, it's like they're like a really grainy version of their photo and like a list of every article they ever written, and that's it. And that's like, to me, like, I mean, it does it check the box? Maybe, but like, I'm just trying to optimize for the robot. Like, does the robot see the about page? Does it see the connections between these pages? And if so, then if Google's optimizing their algorithm for these things, then we're checking the box,
Did you see Sports Illustrated, how they had those fake author personas and they got busted for it? Did you see that story?
I did, yeah. It was blown up in the chat in Three Ships. It was quite funny. Yeah, they got dinged pretty hard. Somebody got in trouble for that, for sure.
So as AI becomes more sophisticated, generating these professional headshots, generating these professional, LinkedIn profiles, they all look 100% legit, and AI is only getting better every single day too, right? So it's going to be very interesting how Google distinguishes that moving forward.
Yeah, I have a couple of thoughts on that. To your question earlier about our EEIT strategy, the way I also think Google can decipher if the person on the page is an expert or not is literally the words they use to describe stuff. Like, an expert is going to describe, like, if I hired a plumbing expert to replace my toilet, he's going to say the flange is broken. He's going to say, like, the pump is broken. I don't know. He's going to use very technical terms that Google will see, and then in its knowledge graph can see that, oh, this is a very, like, a comprehensive document.
So the semantic language. Exactly,
yeah. And versus like somebody who doesn't know anything about plumbing, or is just like reading what they find on the internet, uses very basic terminology that is not sophisticated, it's not technical. Like, I think Google can see that and will maybe optimize for that in a sense. Like, that's EEAT, like how Google's, like, you gotta get it. Google's a robot, right? It's not gonna know if it's a real, like, the right or wrong person,
right.
But if you write like an expert would write, you might get expert visibility, So
right. So on the same topic of AI, tell me how you're leveraging AI, if at all, in your SEO or content workflows. Are there any tools you're using? Just kind of explain, what your process is with AI right now.
Yeah. So what were you? It's gonna sound like a shitty answer, but we really just use ChatGPT and Claude, because like every other tool is built on top of those tools. So we end up just going straight to those tools to use what we need to do. I do use other tools. I use Koala a little bit. I use ZimWriter. These are AI tools.
I actually just heard about ZimWriter a few days ago.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat tool, and the guy who's running it is like super active, trying to build it up, making it a really awesome tool. I like where he's going with that product. So I really like those tools. They're getting quite far with what they can do with that generative content. And then another tool that I use that's a little bit lesser known is called Get Horseman. It's one that I heard from another SEO that I'm friends with. It's a little more technical, but what it can do is it can crawl all the pages on your site, but you can feed in a prompt. So what you can do is essentially say, hey, go to these pages and grade the EEAT for each of these pages, right? And then it'll crawl your whole, like, the pages you give it, kind of like Streaming Frog, and it'll spit out the answer to that prompt in each row. So it'll be like URL prompt answer, and then it'll go down. And it's just a way to like basically, deploy AI across a site in a structured way. And this tool is the only tool I've seen that can do that so far. I'm sure other tools will pop up, but that is another tool that I've been using a little bit.
Yeah, and you know this too. It depends on the niche, right? You have to be very careful if you're in what's called that YMYL category, your money, your life. So health, finance, legal, just three off the top of my head. You have to be very careful with AI. If you don't have the EEAT behind your site, incredible authors writing the content, good luck ranking with AI, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, to be clear, Three Ships does not actually use a generative content. We don't write generative content. What we do, we mostly use AI for productivity. So
ideation too, probably.
Yeah, ideation is really good for that sort of thing. So we use productivity, ideation, and process improvement. So those are probably the big things that we use AI for, and those are great use cases. The one thing, I don't know if you've asked me yet, but the one thing that I'm not worried about for AI is, like, honestly, Google's generative AI experience that they're pushing out.
I was going to get into SGE at some point in the podcast. Yeah, I'm not very big on that either, to be honest with you.
I mean, they're trying to make it work. They don't know. I mean, you got to remember, they're just people like us that are trying to use these tools to like make their product better, and they're guessing at what could be better. They're going to put something out there, they're going to collect data, and it's going to either work or not. And if it doesn't work, they're going to go back to the drawing board. And I mean, that's how I at least think about it. I've never used a generative answer. I have labs turned on, and just to see, I literally I like scroll past it more than the ads. I'll look at the ads before I look at the generative answer.
Well, and that's just it, right? It's not even rolled out to the public. So people that are making this big hype about it, it's like you have to go into labs, turn it on. It's like it's not even rolled out to the general public. So what's all the hype about right now? But if it does per se, let's just use it as an example or hypothetical. Let's say Google does roll it out to the public. It could hit informational queries, I think, pretty hard. I think transactional queries will always be okay just from a user experience standpoint. I don't want to get an SGE response for a transactional query on best VPNs. I want to go read something from an expert and make the decision myself based on what an expert thinks. So I think informational queries might be in trouble if something like that were to roll out. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, if Google can nail the experience that yields a better better experience where people are engaging with it. And yeah, I think the first bucket of keywords to go, or at least be at risk, is for sure informational keywords that, I mean, they're already being answered in the SERP. Featured snippets already are answering those in the SERP. Yeah. People also ask is already answering those in the SERP. So I'm not even sure how much more click share it's going to steal that those widgets already are taking. You know what I mean? And again, I stating the obvious here, but Google at the end of the day needs to make money. So if this generative AI experience does not make them make more money, they're not going to do it. They're gonna roll out an experience that helps them make more money. So whatever that looks like, and it might not even exist. It might not even exist today. That experience that is ultimately going to be the one that they go with long term.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew this, but search ads I think account for 70% of Google or Alphabet's overall revenue. So it's like in my head, okay, is it going to be one or two big ad placements where they just jack up the CPCs to account for that, or
maybe
how are they going to work that in? Yeah, so that's a great question, right? It all comes down to the dollars every single time.
Right, exactly.
So let's talk about, this is my favorite segment in the podcast where we talk about the quacks, right? So define a quack in the SEO industry from your perspective. What are some tricks and gimmicks that people do for the quick result?
In it's like a positive way or a negative way?
Whatever you think.
Okay.
You could talk black hat, gray hat SEO, whatever's on your mind.
Yeah, maybe I'll speak in the positive and some things that have worked for me in terms of quick wins. I would say, and this is going to sound super simple, but like rewriting content from zero is probably the strongest lever that we have to grow rank in terms of, because it affects the recency, algorithm or whatever, the recency piece of the algorithm that will promote content that's fresh. And a big play that we do anytime we see rank drop is just rewrite the article. And some people don't even do that. They're just like, oh, my algorithm got hit. Like, I don't know what to do. Yeah, like literally rewrite the article and update the publish date, build new internal links to it. Like, this is what we do. And we've defended some of the most competitive SERPs in the landscape like this. And that works really well. Another tactic / strategy that we do that has worked sometimes is if we feel like we're getting hit with some spam links or something, or we think that somehow we built bad links for some reason, we end up deleting those pages. Just delete them, 404 them, just get rid of them.
You don't even 301, you 404 them?
No, we don't 301 them because we don't want to pass the signals to another page on the site. So we want to basically sever the link and that can. Like, if anybody's listening and they have a site that got hit by an algo update, try it. It may not go anywhere, but it's something to try. And if you have a site that you think, and obviously be careful about which links you decide to do this with, get an SEO if you're not in SEO to help you with this. But killing pages that could have toxic links pointing to them. And by that, I mean, we usually define toxic links as sites that are pure spam, basically exist to be sold as links. Casino, tons of casino, outbound casino links, gambling, CBD can be in there, anything drug related can be in there.
Adult content.
Even sites that are they don't have any of that, but they clearly are made for just being link farms. And when you see them, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so any toxic links like that, we try to purge. So those are probably the two bigger things that we do that are not as obvious. I don't want to bring obvious things here that are maybe the rewriting the content was kind of obvious, but
what about black hat or gray hat? What are some gimmicks or things in the black hat SEO space that you see people try to do to get quick wins?
Let me think. I think people try to manipulate clicks in the search results. They'll buy clicks to their results. So there's a theory that not a theory, but it's honestly there's probably some truth to it. Basically, if there's 10 results and you're number 3, the CTR curve says that you should be getting I don't know, 9% of the click share or something. And if 100 people Google and like you're getting 20% of the click share, Google might be like, that search result is better. Like that's like very oversimplified what might be happening.
And then they're throwing on a VPN and going to different IP addresses and doing it that way, or what?
People could literally, there's literally services that you can pay who will click your page. and I've heard very mixed results from this, but it's a very black hat thing to do. I don't know if Google can combat it or what, but if you manipulate CTR like that, you could find yourself, gaining a rank or two.
Yeah.
That's definitely.
I'll give you my quick black hat one that I've seen. I don't know if you've encountered this with the niches that you're involved in, but I've seen fake DMCA removal requests. That's probably the biggest black hat one that I've seen, where you have competitors, usually from India, that'll just spin up these content affiliate sites. They'll send me fake DMCA requests. Well, I've seen this before, but if I don't know what a DMCA request looks like, I might think, oh, wow, that's real. I better take down my content before the authorities come to me or before I get in trouble. And then boom, then they jump you in the rankings for whatever the given keyword was. So fake DMCA removal requests, that's my number one.
Damn, I have never had that one happen to me, and hopefully I never will. Man, people are getting really creative with.
Oh my god! When I first saw that, I'm like, wow, that is honestly the most creative black hat SEO tactic I've ever seen.
I mean, you got to give it credit. Credit's due. They're probably using ChatGPT to figure out new black hat ideas.
I'm sure. So let's just do with a final note, Shane. What would be your final tips and tricks on just SEO or marketing advice in general for anyone listening in 2024?
Yeah, I tried to write a few of these. I think a couple of thoughts. Stories, a big theme right now, I think, so it all comes back to content, right? Like, I know if you're familiar with YouTube at all, and I know you are, the best YouTube videos generally tell a story, and they keep people engaged throughout the whole video because it's like conflict resolution. Like, it keeps people through the whole thing. And part of our editorial approach this year is to do better there and have a narrative almost in the article so that people they want to go through the whole thing. So that would be one thing. And, it all goes back to what I was saying earlier, which is we're doing a lot of firsthand data gathering right now, research. So we want to be the people everyone else copies, if that makes sense, right? We want to be the one, because everybody else, if I were to spin up a niche site tomorrow, say in I don't know, the VPN space, you were just saying.
Good luck.
What I'm going to do is read the other VPN sites and learn what I need to write. And but we really should be doing is talking to 100 people who are customers of VPN software. That is going to inform your content strategy and how you should write to some of these keywords, not what did they write for. I mean, yeah, you want to use that as data, as intel, because obviously there's tried and true SEO strategies, copy what your competitor's doing who's ranking above you. Do that, but also overlay 20, 30, 40% of your own perspective from your own research. And then that's going to flow also into your UX using tools we're actually investing right now into some UX tools like Generate Blocks, which it's not our tool, but we're investing in tools to extend it so that we can build custom experiences, custom widgets, tooltip functionality, different tabs and accordions that are engaging, table of contents that's a bit better than what's out there, so that when somebody shows up on our page, one, it looks different, right? It doesn't look like every other page they've ever been on. Two, it gets them to their answer quicker. It also entices them to go deeper in our site, or it entices them to take the offer. Because at the end of the day, we want to make money too, right? We don't want them to just hang on our page and go, click internal links. We want them to click our affiliate links, because that's how we make money. So there's a balance there. But my advice to people is to invest in some kind of knowledge base where you know your customer really well. And that can be done, if you don't have any money, you could just do a lot of this through Reddit research. This is really shoestring budget. I would recommend go to Reddit, learn, literally read the forums about your thing. The customers who are buying the software talk there. Go to actual forums. Again, you don't want digital marketer opinions like you and me. You
Right.
want the actual customer. What are their pains? Why did they buy? Why didn't they buy? What are their objections? What are they worried about? What are what are the things that if they buy, they're not sure about? You just want all the answers to that, so that when you write your content, it has all of that. And in my opinion, and we didn't talk about this, but Pest Strategies and Learning Jewelry, which are the two sites that I started a couple years ago that I sold, I did this for those niches. I literally, for pest control, I went into these pest control home my homeowner Reddit, whatever, and read what people were talking about. And they were talking about pesticides and like the active ingredients and like, what's this one called? What is Cetaphil or whatever? And guess what I did? I wrote about pesticides in like, not even just write about them. I wrote like, this is going to do this to your pet. When it's like best ant sprays, I'd be like, yeah, like this one from Taro has this active ingredient, which is going to do this to your pet. So you really probably don't want that. You want this one from XYZ brand. You get what I'm saying? So like,
yeah, most niche site owners are not doing that.
But that's that's the world we play in now. Last thing. And I know I'm like kind of rambling here. So sorry about that. You can't just be a content site anymore. You can't just publish content and like expect to win. Like very few sites are going to do that really well. What I would recommend is content SEO is a means to something else. In this case, like build a digital product around your SEO play, right? Build a like photography is a good niche for this, right? Build a photo photography niche site, but then have like an online course about how to take photos, whatever. And then build a community, attach a forum to it. Google loves forums now. We all know that. Like attach a community.
Core and Reddit, man. I see them all over the SERPs.
Exactly. Like lean into it, man. Like, and then YouTube. Do YouTube. Like, why not? Do Faceless. Faceless is still very much a possibility. Like there are Faceless YouTube's channels out there that are doing really well. Like you can do it.
I'm so bullish on YouTube, Shane. Even in 2024, like I feel late, but like even hearing someone's voice where it sounds somewhat realistic, that goes so much further than reading a blog post. And plus, the video section are in the SERP now, so you can rank YouTube videos in SERPs for given keywords.
Yeah, 100%. YouTube is, if you're starting a niche site in 2024, you need to have a YouTube channel, a community, and then probably an info product attached in there somewhere. Like I'm doing, and I think you've seen a few of my tweets or X's, whatever they're called, where I'm like reviewing sites that are still hanging out post helpful content update. Most of the sites that I'm seeing that are still around are sites with products or something else on them. That's not just a pure content site. So that's my recommendation. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah, opt-in guides to collect emails as well. I think building a list is still one of the most important things that is overlooked, in my opinion. Most people just want to go top a funnel shotgun blast. That's the advice that I see out there. But cool, man. Where can people find you?
Yeah, my website, shanedutka.com. I have all my stuff there, YouTube, X, it's all like there. You can just Google me, Shane Dutka. All my stuff is there. So feel free to jump on the email list, hit me up on Twitter, and that's where I'm at.
Love it. Well, Shane, thank you so much again for coming on.
Appreciate it.